Spanning 11 time zones, covering 1/8 of the Earth's inhabited land, lies a nation forged in ice and fire. A land of impossible scale and unforgiving extremes. For over 1,000 years, it has been a crucible, testing the limits of human endurance. Invaders have come and gone, empires have risen and fallen, yet Russia endures. How has this colossal nation survived? What should have been its end? Time and time again. What is the secret that has kept Russia alive for a millennium? Join us as we journey through 1,000 years of history to uncover the forces that shaped a nation that learned to survive the impossible. Geography is Russia's first and greatest defense. It is both a fortress and a weapon. Imagine the sheer scale. Endless steppes, impenetrable forests of the taiga, and the colossal Ural Mountains dividing a continent. This vastness has swallowed armies whole. In 1812, Napoleon Bonaparte, the master of Europe, led his grand army of over 600,000 soldiers into the heart of Russia. He found empty cities and scorched earth. What he didn't account for was Russia's most formidable general, General Winter. The brutal Russian winter descended. His army froze and starved. Of the 680,000 who entered, fewer than 30,000 limped back. Geography became their tomb. The great rivers, like the Volga and the Dnieper, served as vital arteries, connecting disparate settlements across this immense territory. But for an invader, they are just more obstacles in a land that seems to have no end. This is a land that protects and punishes in equal measure. But geography alone doesn't tell the whole story. Russia's soul has been forged in the fires of historical crises, each one leaving an indelible mark. In the 13th century, a storm from the east descended. The Mongol horsemen swept across the steppes, burning cities and shattering the Kievan Rus. For nearly 240 years, from 1237 to 1480, Russia fell under the shadow of the Golden Horde. But even in subjugation, a seed of resilience was planted. The scattered principalities learned a harsh lesson in unity. From the ashes, the small, seemingly insignificant outpost of Moscow began to consolidate power, gathering the Russian lands until it was strong enough to finally cast off the Mongol yoke. Centuries later, at the turn of the 17th century, Russia plunged into a period of anarchy so profound it became known as the Time of Troubles. The ruling dynasty had died out, leading to civil war, famine, and foreign invasion. Polish forces occupied the Kremlin itself. With pretenders to the throne appearing and disappearing, the nation teetered on the brink of total collapse. It's estimated that 1/3 of the population perished. Yet, from the depths of this despair, a national consciousness was awakened. A volunteer army, a people's militia, rose up and marched on Moscow, expelling the invaders. In 1613, Michael Romanov was crowned Tsar, beginning a dynasty that would rule for 300 years. The nation had looked into the abyss and pulled itself back. The greatest test, however, was yet to come. In 1941, the German war machine launched Operation Barbarossa, unleashing the most brutal conflict in human history upon the Soviet Union. What followed was the Great Patriotic War. The siege of Leningrad lasted 872 days, a testament to unimaginable suffering and endurance, where citizens survived on starvation rations in a frozen, blockaded city. The Battle of Stalingrad turned a city to rubble but became the graveyard of the German Sixth Army. The cost was staggering: 27 million Soviet lives, a number that is almost impossible to comprehend. Yet, from this unparalleled sacrifice came an equally unparalleled victory. The image of the Soviet flag raised over the Reichstag in Berlin became a symbol of a nation that refused to be broken. Every crisis, from the Mongols to the Nazis, hammered home one lesson: survival at any cost. So what is the cultural DNA that allows a people to endure such trials? A key element is a deep-rooted sense of collectivism. Historically, this was embodied by the traditional peasant commune. Survival in the harsh Russian climate depended not on individual effort, but on the village working as one, plowing the fields, harvesting the crops, and weathering the long winters together. This idea of the collective good being paramount persisted through the Soviet era and can still be seen in the close-knit communities of modern Russia. It's a belief that you survive not as an individual, but as a part of a whole. This collectivism is intertwined with a fierce, almost sacred patriotism. This isn't just flag-waving. It's a sentiment forged through centuries of repelling invaders. It's on full display every year on Victory Day, a holiday that unites the entire nation. You see it in the eyes of veterans adorned with medals, in the children laying flowers at war memorials, and in the solemn pride of the crowds. It's a continuous thread connecting the soldiers who faced Napoleon in 1812, the defenders of Stalingrad in 1941, and the Russians of today. It is a patriotism born from a shared history of sacrifice and survival. And beneath it all lies a unique blend of spirituality and fatalism. For 1,000 years, the Orthodox Church has been a spiritual anchor. In times of chaos, the golden domes of the churches represented a slice of heaven on a brutal earth, a promise of constancy when everything else was falling apart. This faith fosters a sense of fatalism, an acceptance of suffering as a part of life's journey, but also a profound hope for redemption and salvation. It's a quiet strength, a spiritual resilience that allows one to endure the unendurable, believing in a purpose beyond the immediate hardship. This history is not a distant memory. It is a living presence. For those who lived through the 1990s, the collapse of the Soviet Union brought back echoes of the time of troubles. The empty store shelves, the economic chaos, the political uncertainty was a modern crisis that tested the nation's resilience once more. And once again, people adapted. They relied on their gardens, on their communities, on the same spirit of endurance their ancestors had shown. You can see this living history at a modern Victory Day parade, where grandparents who survived the war tell their stories to grandchildren, passing down not just memories, but the very code of survival. In Russia, history isn't something that is past, it is always present. So, what is the secret to Russia's 1,000-year survival? It isn't one single thing. 'Tis a trinity of forces working in concert. It is a geography that protects and punishes, demanding respect and resilience. It is a history of relentless crisis that has forged an unbreakable will to endure. And it is a culture that binds people together through collectivism, patriotism, and faith. For a millennium, this vast and complex nation has faced the abyss and refused to fall. Its story is not just one of survival, but of a spirit that, like a single flame in the immense Russian darkness, simply refuses to be extinguished. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Russian history. If you found this documentary enlightening, please like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'll see you next time.